deposits. Some people have paid deposits and right now they are regretting why they chose that service provider, because the service provider has said, or they have said, they're not giving back the deposit. So what happens? Welcome. Deposits. That is a topic that is going on right now in all WhatsApp groups, on Facebook, and of course, people are threatening to expose service providers for refusing with their deposits. So what's up with this deposit stuff? Today we are going to tackle that topic. Thank you so much for making time to stop by and to watch this clip. My name is MC Headboy and this vlog is all about travel and of course events, and for those who love lifestyle. This is a channel. Remember to subscribe and to hit the bell button that is right besides it to get all the notification of all the cool stuff we have in store for you. Remember, this is not a boring vlog. It's all about interesting stuff. And that's why I want us to talk about deposits, because it's all about refunding money right now. So many events have been cancelled. I have had close to 6 to 7 events cancelled in the past 1 week. Guys are very uncertain because of course, the COVID-19. We don't know what is happening and we want to get, of course, answers. Should we pay back the money that was paid to us as service providers, or should we receive the money that we paid as clients? That's a very interesting topic, and I'm not going to be an advocate for any. I'm not going to play the advocate for either the clients or the service providers. I want us to have a middle ground, to just have an understanding of what really happens. So without further ado, let us dig deep into the topic. Remember, you can always give us your comments and suggestions down there, and of course if you have any problems, we can always try to answer you through the comment section. And of course there are a lot of experts who are going to be looking at this, so they can suggest to you some probable solutions as you give your problem out. We live in a very uncertain time, and in my human history, I have never had a situation like this. And of course this has gotten people unawares, and of course if you are not if you are a person who has always taken things lightly like me, you not see the importance, of course, of having contracts and all that to cover you in such times. And so most of us have been caught pants down, let's be all be honest. So I have paid money for an event that is not going to happen, and perhaps I paid 50, 60% or 75% or 80% to some extremes, or even some have already paid the full amount to the said service provider. So what happens? Allow me to take you to class and teach you something about the law of the contract. So before even we start to talk about anything, let us talk about the contract, because that is the only binding, that is the lawful binding, how should I put this? That is the only legal binding document between you, the service provider, and the said client. So, having heard that there's something called the principle of the contract, or the law of the contract, in the contract there's a clause. Of course, in my contracts, if you have interacted with me, you have seen my contracts. There's a clause that talks about force majeure. Force majeure is the superior or is irresistible power, or something that is beyond human intervention, like drought, like earthquake, like of course the COVID-19 is of course something that is beyond our control. And in this case, COVID-19 has come, and it has come, of course, with a lot. And now today, my question is, should you give back the money? Should you? No. Your contracts, first of all, does it say you're going to give money? And at what point? Of course, there's some contracts that gives you a certain time to cancel the contract without any consequences, and there's some also will tell you if you cancel your event 3 days prior, or 1 week prior, or 1 month, or 3 months, depending with the contract, then you are not going to get the full deposit back. At least you're going to receive perhaps 50% or 30%, and then some will tell you you're not going to get anything back. So please read that clause, and that is going to guide you on how you're going to approach either in either parties. Your contract is very subjective. It's going to tell you how you're going to approach. Second of all, I think away from contracts, let us discuss, should you, as a human being, knowing that COVID is something that is beyond control, the client has called you back and asking for money, should you give back the money? I think also it boils down with your personality and again the kind of person that you are. Do you want just to give back the money, or do you want to keep the money, or do you want just to give back part of it? So it's entirely on the service provider. If you had no contracts, so if you had no contracts, it's all about, it's called man-to-man understanding. It's called just man-to-man understanding, and it's a very important thing. It also depends on the kind of relationship that you have built with this service provider. And of course, if you have decided to cancel your event, and there's something that is going on social media right now, and guys are asking, please don't cancel your event, just postpone. But again, you postponed and you collide with another event that had already been booked prior. What do you do? I think that is a dilemma we are all in the events industry. And so now let us look at it from the client's perspective. Now you have cancelled your event, and of course, service providers walikula pesa. Service providers, we don't keep money, we invest, and some have expenses. So probably your money is already used. I'm so sorry to give you that reality, but yes, your money perhaps is used for other purposes. Like me, when I receive money, I keep on investing in my stomach and of course in serious things. So perhaps they don't have money. So if your service provider has no cash to give back, but they have agreed to give you, of course that is okay. But if they refuse to give you, of course it's good to have a middle ground, understand each other, ask them if they can take 50% and if they can give you back the 50%. And if not, it's good to find an arbitrator. An arbitrator is someone like a lawyer or someone who can come in between and try to reconcile the two parties just to come up with a middle ground. And it's very important. But for service providers, I feel this kind of thing, that COVID-19 has really affected us in terms of course, we had, some are paying back loans. You know, we had taken loans to buy some stuff like some tents, some have bought grounds, some have bought new equipment just to be on top of the game. And we are paying huge loans. And then now the COVID-19 is not helping. Of course, it has caused a lot of problems. So my suggestion is, if you are a client, look at the contract. This is the only legal binding document that you have with your service provider. Get to know, what does the contract say? If the contract has no clause like that, then it's human understanding. Just go and talk on humanitarian grounds and ask yourselves some pertinent questions, because both parties are affected. And number 3, if you are a service provider and you have the money, there's some leniency. Just decide to give back the money or part of it, or just be human. My last advice to everyone is, don't cancel. Yes, don't cancel your event, just postpone your event. Don't cancel. Don't cancel, because when you cancel, so many things go wrong.